Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're new here. And as I always say, thank you so much for joining me for our pick a card reading. And our topic today is all about a hidden truth you need to know. So we're going to explore, well, what the truth is that's been hidden from you, why it's been hidden from you, how it impacts your life, as well as at the end, guidance on what to do with this truth now that it's been unveiled to you. So without further ado, let us pick our pile leaders using the Dark Mirror Oracle today, calling on Spirit. Please guide us for our highest best good to the correct pile leaders for everyone to choose their messages with. Thank you. Okay, well this one right here is just like pick me. So we're going to choose that for pile number 1. And then for 2 and 3. Feeling drawn to this part of the deck. Starting with this one, there's number 2. And there is number 3. Okay, let's unveil the cards together. So for pile number 1, your leader today is, we have 2 bright red figures with hiding your true self, or if you like to pick with numbers, this is card number 14. Hiding your true self. Beautiful card. For pile number 2 here in the middle, your pile leader is, we have revenge with the number 23. Okay, and last but not least, for our wonderful pile number 3 over here on the right, your pile leader today is, oopsie, there goes the other cards. We have, oh boy, another kind of a dark card. We have I Won't Cry For You with number 22. Okay, quick refresher. Pile 1 is hiding your true self. Pile 2 is revenge. And pile 3 is I Won't Cry For You. Although, as I always say, you're perfectly welcome to pause right here if you need more time to deliberate over the piles. If you're new to pick a card readings or you just want to take a nice, stress-free moment out of your day, please follow my voice right now on a method to best choose. So, close your eyes and take in a deep, cleansing breath. Imagine light filling your lungs as you do so. Then hold it for just a moment. And then when you breathe back out again, open your eyes and see where are they drawn most first out of these 3 different options. You'll kind of feel it like, oh, this one is right to me, or like your eyes really drawn to it, or down in your gut, it'll be like, a knowing or intuition as we like to call it. And that is the pile I recommend you choose. But whenever you are ready, drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment beneath the video. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about a hidden truth you need to know. See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your Hidden Truth reading, and as you recall, you were drawn to the card of hiding your true self, or number 14 for your pile leader. So we're going to do this reading a little bit of a different structure today. We're not going to talk about the oracle card for your pile leader just yet. We're actually going to draw both the tarot spread and one of the other oracle decks to explore more about what this hidden truth is, connecting it all together. So I'm going to put this over here to the left to begin, and let's draw those cards now. So Spirit coming forward for pile number 1 today, a hidden truth they need to know. Can you tell us more about the hidden truth itself? Thank you. Okay. You already got 2 cards that came out. That's kind of what I was hoping for. So we'll take those 2. We'll explore them in just a moment. But you did get, and this is from a show, so you might not necessarily get the references, but you got the card of McGucket and Gideon Land. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. Put those up here, and then let's draw your tarot spread. From the same show, we have, how fittingly, the Mystery Tarot for a Hidden Truth reading. Spirit, same thing, 5 cards. Please explain more about what's hidden, why it was hidden, the whole truth of it, the impact on pile 1, and their advice. Okay, I'm getting the sense, pile number 1, right off the bat, that this is something you're already suspecting based on your intuition or your gut feeling. I already kind of have, at least myself here as a tarot reader, this feeling of like a looming, like I kind of suspect this might happen, but at the same time, I'm not sure. And I almost wonder if you've been kind of dreading something. in which case this reading might be more about telling you like the full truth about, well, don't dread this because here's the actual truth behind it. Or it might confirm a bit of your gut intuition, but then also help you with like advice on like navigating away from what you're dreading. So that's just my first intuitive hint here based on this reading, okay? But let's look at the tarot cards. We have first up the Seven of Cups. Okay, different choices, dreams versus reality. Interesting. We'll talk about that in a moment. Still going through each one. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Interesting. Middle card, we have the Eight of Wands reversed. Bit of a slowness energy coming up. Something might be happening a bit slower than you expect. Maybe that's part of what you're dreading, is like something you feel is, oh God, it's not going to go as fast as I want it to. It's going to slow down. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we have, oh, beautiful, the Tower reversed. That's a good thing to get, pile number one. The Tower reversed is avoiding a disaster. So I want to tell you right off the bat, pile number one, I think whatever you're fearing with this worst case scenario that you're dreading is not going to come to pass. I can tell you that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, and we'll talk about this more as we explore the cards, it doesn't necessarily mean that there might not be like some little setback of some sort, but I can tell you this, imagine the absolute worst case scenario that you're fearing with this scenario right now, and just know that that worst case scenario is not going to come to pass. Okay, that's what I can tell you with the Tower reverse. So that's a good sign. And then the last card is the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay. Now, bear with me. I'm using a bit of a different version of my typical spread today. So let's look over the interpretations. Okay, hiding your true self. And then McGucket, we have misunderstood, no memory, and sweet. Yeah, it's like a misunderstanding, pile number one. I think you're interpreting something a little bit incorrectly. Not to your own fault. It's not like, Spirit is saying, shame on you for not getting this. I mean, it's something I get the feeling that, like, is very understandable that, like, anyone in your situation would have been like, oh, I dread this worst case scenario. Oh, no, like, this is totally understandable, pile number one. But there is a misunderstanding here. It's like, just hold out and see what happens. And then we have Gideon Land, future plans, groundwork, and intentions. Okay, so I think it also has to do something with a future plan of yours, which is kind of a given, right? Especially if it's something that maybe you've been dreading for the future because you're like, oh God. But especially too, I think it's specifically like something that you've been plotting for the future in terms of like the groundwork for, maybe a new business you've been starting to set out, or set up, I should say, or it could also possibly be like groundwork for like a career move or like a literal house move, moving somewhere, or a relationship move of some sort. Like, if you are currently thinking about leaving a relationship, maybe you're fearing like worst case scenario with that, and you're like, I gotta lay all the groundwork to kind of exit this relationship in a positive way, or, even if it's like maybe getting together with someone too, and you fear that in this relationship, like if you ask them, okay, let's be serious, or like, you want to date, right? That you're like, oh God, they're going to reject me. Something along those lines. It's that future anxiety of, oh God, I'm preparing as well as I can, but I think the worst case scenario is going to happen. I don't really know. And then it's really rooted, though, from a misunderstanding. Now, looking at your tarot spread in a bit more detail, pile number one. Okay, using my new tarot spread that I decided to work with today for specifically a hidden truth reading. The first card represents what is hidden, or like what area of your life this is. Very fitting with what we already saw with the two Divinimation Oracle cards that came out, McGucket and Gideon Land. You have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is about dreams for the future. It's about our options for the future. So whatever you've been kind of dreaming about, whatever you've been kind of maybe like fantasizing, daydreaming about, like trying to picture for the future, this is exactly what this hidden truth is related to, which I won't repeat that too much because we did see that with the Oracle cards, right? And then the next card, the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles tends to be, a card about reaping the fruits of our labor. We've put a lot of effort in, and now we're going to try to extract some sort of value out of it. And specifically, this card is in the position of why it's hidden from you. So in an interesting twist, pile number one, the reason why this hidden truth, has been hidden from you about how this will really go is because there's something of benefit to you for you to have a misunderstanding right now. I know that sounds really odd. You're going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? But I say that because, like I said, Nine of Pentacles is in the position of why. And as I said, the Nine of Pentacles is getting the best value out of the effort that you put in. It's almost kind of maybe like a divine timing message. It's almost like because of this misunderstanding, something goes slower than you expect it does. Hence the Eight of Wands in the next position reversed. And to you, the slowness about this looks like, oh God, it's going to fail, or it's not going to work out. I'm not going to get the thing that I'm wanting, what I'm dreaming about in that Seven of Cups energy right at the very beginning. But because it is delayed and it's given you more time to lay the groundwork for something, hence like the Gideon land card, it turns out better for you in the end because of that. Okay, so just know that just because something goes slower doesn't mean that that's the universe's answer as a no. Really, what is the answer from the universe in that case with your specific hidden truth here is yes, but not yet. Okay, so that's kind of the twist there a little bit. It's a little bit of like, it's delayed for a really good reason. And whatever you're worrying about, and it's kind of, especially if it's timing related, pile number 1, it's for a good reason. Okay, just hear me out. Believe me. All right. And then in the middle, we have the actual truth itself, the Eight of Wands reversed. And as I already described, that card is all about things slowing down. Okay. So the real truth, pile number 1, if you are fearing for the future here with this thing that you've been trying to dream about, plan, lay the groundwork for, the reason, the real truth of like maybe you didn't hear back from somebody, or, whatever your situation is with what it is that you've been frantic about, it's just taking more time. So it's kind of, it's not like a big plot twist reveal, but it's a really relieving one in that it's not, as I said, it's not the universe saying no, pile number 1. It's just the universe being like, yes, but not yet, just wait. Okay. Good things come to those who wait. And I know it's really hard to wait. I know it's difficult and it's nerve-wracking and nail-biting because you're like, I get that. As I said in the very beginning, it was that intuitive sense of that feeling down in the gut of this dreading of like, oh no, like, like some of you, for example, it might be like maybe you apply to a college or a job and you fear that you got a rejection. In this case, it's like they're just taking more time. They're just being kind of slow. Okay. Or for example, it might be same thing like if you prompted someone maybe to go into a relationship with you and they haven't really responded yet. It might be they're taking more time, or they got distracted by something. That could also be a particular reason. But the deeper reason behind it, pile number 1, is because from a divine timing perspective, it's better this way, that it does slow down and that it does take longer. Okay, so, and then the next 2 cards, we have that beautiful Tower reversed. Fantastic, means a disaster avoided. That card is in the position of the impact on you. Okay, and how is it going to change now that you know this truth? Well, obviously, number 1, you're going to be like relieved because you're going to like, oh, thank God. That absolute disaster I was fearing is not going to come to pass. Okay, but number 2, that Tower reversed means basically, everything that maybe you've been prepping for worst case scenario, or everything that you've been worrying about for worst case scenario, it's just going to kind of fade away. Because when you get to that point of, oh, okay, this is what's happening, I just misunderstood. Okay. All of that worry will be gone away. There won't be like a whole tower falling. It won't be, this big oopsie, uh-oh, all my dreams have been shattered. No. Okay. And obviously with the Tower reversed moment, emotionally, it's like a feeling of, oh, thank God. Okay, so relieving reading, as I said. And then the final card here is the advice card, or like the guidance for you going forward. And we have the Nine of Cups reversed, which you have 2 nines, pile number 1. You have the Nine of Pentacles and you have the Nine of Cups, which is interesting. Because nines in tarot tend to represent like the outcomes of things that we've been working hard on. Okay, just like the Nine of Pentacles is all about, the fruits of your labor based on material work, like finances, career, those things, right? The Nine of Cups is about success after emotional work. However, it's reversed right here. So what that means in terms of advice, pile number 1, is with a loving pat on the back, the universe / spirit is basically saying to you, you need to feel more proud. That's a really good keyword to use with the Nine of Cups. Proud and satisfied with the progress that you have made so far. I think part of what's causing this anxiety in you, pile one, is this feeling of, well, I haven't seen this outward progress yet. It's taking so dang slow. So you fear deep down inside that you're not going to get the reward that you're looking for, or you're not going to attain the goal that you're trying to seek, okay? Or it's this feeling of dissatisfaction internally because you feel like you haven't necessarily seen the outside rewards or successes yet. And I know it's difficult to really believe in ourselves, and it's difficult to believe in our successes when we don't have a tangible, from the universe, here's a trophy, you succeeded, congrats, way to go, right? It's a moment where you have to kind of rely on your internal self-esteem and your internal confidence until things speed up and it gets to that point of, okay, disaster averted. And then that's the universe handing you that trophy of, oh, you won, right? But until then, Spirit is saying, please be more emotionally satisfied with the progress you have made. Pat yourself on the back more. You're not appreciating yourself enough, pile number one, okay? And just know that emotional satisfaction will come. It's just taking a bit of extra time. Two, and I didn't even talk about your pile leader yet with the hiding your true self oracle. That tends to mean to me, pile number one, a message of, and quite straightforward, is about hiding your true self, okay? Hiding behind certain things. I think that might be an extra piece of advice here, to be more honest about your deeper intentions with this, to the universe or to the outside world, okay? I mean, intentions was brought up here with the Gideon Land card. It's one of the keywords for it, right? I almost wonder if it might go faster if, in some specific scenarios, this might not resonate with all of you, but it might go faster if you announce and kind of put a megaphone to your mouth about what you're doing more confidently and more loudly to the world, okay? If it's like, say, a small business, market. If it is a job that you applied for, and it's been, a respectful, professional amount of time since you've heard back, right? Maybe a few weeks or so. Contact them back and say, hey, I don't want to bug you, but what's the status of my application to your job or your position that you're trying to fill? Things like that. If you are more open and in people's face, like just this person, or two people, I should say, wearing bright red, it's like a neon sign to the universe and the people involved that you're kind of waiting to hear back from, or like this goal that you're trying to achieve, that, hey, I'm ready for this. Are you ready? And that might make that Eight of Wands reversed energy of sluggish slowness turn around and go faster. And then you'll get to the point of, oh, disaster averted. Things are great. I had nothing to worry about. Okay. So, and then last two cards, we have two different oracle decks. We're going to use the Earthly, it's such a long title. Earthly Spirit something Moon Oracle. It's down in the description down below. Very beautiful deck, though. I feel bad that I can't remember the name at the moment, but gorgeous. Gorgeous art. Okay. Spirit, anything else you want to say to pile one about this hidden truth? Thank you. Okay. Right there. Okay. We have, oopsie, upside down. Serenity. Okay, so I apologize, it's a bit repetitive, pile one, but this card is basically saying to you, it's going to be okay. Because as we all know, serenity means peace. It means a time of quieter activity. It's a satisfaction. In fact, even the Nine of Cups, you could say, is a serenity card, especially it being such an emotionally focused card. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. That's what Spirit is saying. Serenity. Okay, and then let's look at your Soul Mirror Oracle to cap off the reading. Anything else? So we have the reassurance that everything's going to be fine. Once again, the Tower reverse was pretty good about that, but we also have Serenity. Okay. Anything else? Any advice, messages? And another thing, pile number one, especially if you're waiting on somebody else, like a feedback from, say, a job or like an application or somewhere, like if it's kind of a rejection versus acceptance type scenario, I want to say, based on the McGucket card, because for reference, for those that don't know the show that this deck is based off of, that character had memory problems, kind of distracted. So I almost want to say that I feel like one of the other reasons why it might be taking so long is because they're just distracted and maybe they just forgot. Which I know that kind of sucks because you're thinking like, oh, how could they have forgotten? It's so important. But it's not a personal thing, pile one. It's more just they've been kind of so distracted lately. It's not that it's a rejection of you. It's more just they're having a hard time getting their stuff together. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing about that. And then last but not least, we have portal with open versus closed. Okay, portal. Interesting. Portal. One moment as I look over that card. Yeah, it's like a doorway, because that's what a portal is, right, pile one? A portal is a doorway. It's a gateway between two different places. It's like the portal is actually, it's more open to you than you expect, which is, once again, repetitive. We've kind of talked about that before, because it's like you're going to avoid the worst case scenario, but at the same time, it's kind of a subtle, different facet to the message I think it's open to you in a way that you're not looking at right now. I think that's part of that advice that you were given in terms of maybe be a little bit more loud, maybe try to reach out to this person or company, whatever is the particular situation that resonates with you. Because I wonder if maybe you were hesitant to reach out because you thought the portal or like the door was closed, but it's not. That, and I think you've been so distracted with trying to get things off the ground because, like the mother here in the picture, she's holding a baby, right? And so it's kind of like you've been so busy nursing this baby, be it business, be it, just kind of like day-to-day life-related things, just trying to get things done, that maybe it didn't even pass your mind to go turn around and, well, maybe I'll reach out and I'll try to speed things up, okay? Two, it might mean that maybe you... in a good way have been very like nice about this, but it might indicate that you maybe need a little bit more aggression in this. Not mean aggression, right, pile one, but kind of more go-getter energy with this rather than more passive energy of like, well, I'll just see what happens. It's, if you really want this, pile one, this is spirit saying, walk through the portal, open the door yourself, okay? Sometimes in order to get through a door, you have to break it down. People won't always open the door for you, all right? And even like the imagery of your pile leader here with the red clothing, it's like her saying, notice me, look at me. Hey, I'm here. Hello. Like, was that, is that in The Legend of Zelda, the little fairy Navi? Like, hey, listen, right? You need to be Navi. You need to say, hey, listen. Okay. That type of advice. So if you follow that advice and just be reassured, pile one, you're going to make it through just fine. Things will go through much better than you expected. You'll avoid the worst case scenario, as I've said before. So that is your Hidden Truth reading for today. I hope, of course, most of all, that it helped you, that you liked it, and it resonated. If so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so already. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile one. Hello there, my wonderful pile number two. Welcome to your Hidden Truth reading for today. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card of Revenge, or the number 23 for your pile leader. Now, typically I do talk about your pile leader right off the bat, but today we're going to switch the structure around, and we're going to set your pile leader off to the left and draw not only your tarot spread, but also one of the other oracle cards to get a little bit more of an interwoven understanding of what this hidden truth is. So, Spirit, for our wonderful pile number two, using this deck, can you tell us more about the hidden truth you'd want them to know? Thank you. Okay. Okay, feeling drawn to this one, so we'll draw those two. And then let's draw out your tarot spread using the very fitting Mystery Tarot today. I thought, why not use the Mystery Tarot for a Hidden Truth reading, right? Okay, Spirit, for our wonderful pile two, can you tell us more about what's hidden, why it's hidden, the truth, and the impact on pile two, as well as a final piece of advice? Okay, we already have, looks like that was just one. Oh no, there's actually two that popped out. I believe that's it for the ones that flipped over. Yes, okay, so 1, 2, uno, dos, and let's draw the last three together. Right there. Okay. Thank you for your patience, pile 2, as I was trying to figure out where I felt called to pull the rest of the cards. Okay, so let's unveil your cards, pile number 2. Starting with the Oracle cards up here, we have the Divinimation Oracle. You first received the Haunted Mirror, Ensnaring, Revelatory, Rights and Wrongs, and then you received Amber Cave, Preserved, Past, Dangerous, and Beautiful. So, pile number 2. We will see, of course, more details with your tarot spread, but what I am hearing so far is this hidden truth is probably about the past. It's not a present or a future related thing. It's about something that occurred prior to this point that you're watching this reading, okay? Because not only do we have the Amber Cave, which is like, amber preserves things, right? It keeps things together for, well, basically thousands, if not like millennia of years, right? On top of that, we have the Haunted Mirror, which was about righting the wrongs of the past with the particular show that this Oracle deck is based on. I'll just kind of explain the references because I know not all of you have seen Gravity Falls, but yeah. So, yeah, the past, and it's a revelation about the past. It's a revelation about what was right and what was wrong, or it possibly could also be that this hidden truth is like you understanding something that you thought you did wrong but actually was right. Or it's like something that felt like it was wrong at the time, but it actually was like the best decision in the end. Does that kind of make sense, pile 2? Interesting. This is cool reading I'm seeing so far. I like the kind of way that this is going. Because I feel like at the end of this reading, pile 2, there's going to be a sense of relief. At least what I'm intuitively picking up on right now. And it's interesting, too, because your pile leader, as I said, we would talk about that later. I'll just briefly mention it now. We have the card of revenge, and quite straightforward. We all know what revenge is. And, revenge always kind of speaks of, like, a bitterness of some sort. It speaks of, like, a regret and trying to make up for a regret, or, maybe an injustice that had occurred and you wanting revenge for that particular thing, okay? So let's look at your tarot spread. So the first card we have is the 9 of Pentacles reversed. Then we have, it's called the Little Gideon, but it's the Hierophant effectively reversed. Okay, so 9 of Pentacles reversed, Hierophant reversed. We'll explain what those mean in just a moment after we reveal all your tarot cards. The third card today is I believe that is the 4 of Swords reversed. Okay. Interesting. Some of you, I wonder if this was around a heartbreak in your past. I don't know. It's kind of feeling that way, but that might not resonate with all of you. It could be something unrelated to relationships. But then the fourth card is the Stan, or the High Priestess reversed in most decks. All these reversals, pile 2. What's going on here? Okay, and then last but not least, we have another reversal. This time, though, we have the 2 of Swords reversed. Lots of 2s. And 2s, in at least my interpretation of cartomancy, when you have an abundance of those, that tends to make me think that it's like 2 people involved, right? Or it's about balance. That's like another keyword I like to associate with the number 2, being, one side versus the other, one person versus the other, which is, once again, that's oftentimes you see that in revenge too, or revenge stories. It's one person was wronged and they get revenge on the person who wronged them, right? So yeah, let's look at this. And I'm using a bit of a different spread today, so forgive me if it takes me a bit of an extra second to interpret this. So the first card, pile 2, is, I said, the 9 of Pentacles reversed. And that card represents in this spread what is hidden, or like what area of your life this is related to. Now, we have Pentacles, and Pentacles tends to represent finance, career, success, but also sometimes like security in some way. It can mean something to do with your home. Sometimes I associate Pentacles with family as well. And the 9 of Pentacles, specifically pile 2, tends to represent we put a lot of effort into something, but we didn't get out of it what we deserved, okay? The phrase I like to use, or metaphor I always use with the 9 of Pentacles reversed, tends to be you put a quarter into the gumball machine and you didn't get the gumball out. It's that kind of thing, okay? So I feel like this is either related to like another person from your past, or it could be multiple people, but I'm getting the sense for most of you it's like 2 people involved, so you and one other person, right? where you put a lot of effort into something, or you put a lot of resources into something, and you didn't get out of it what you were supposed to. So it could have been maybe a relationship where, you put in a lot of the effort. Maybe it wasn't really a two-way street with this relationship. It could have been you were the one doing all like the emotional burden carrying, you were the one trying to make it work, that kind of thing. Or, especially being pentacles, that can technically tend to represent more like business related relationships. So that could be like, you put a lot of work in, but your boss or your manager never really gave you what you deserved for everything that you did, okay, which unfortunately is very common. We have people get taken advantage of at their workplaces, okay. Or it could also be like there was a coworker that just, like, you were supposed to be working on something together, and it's like you put the effort in, but they got the reward for it, even though, like, they did basically jack, right? So it's something along those lines, and it's that, once again, I mean, with the rights and wrongs of the Haunted Mirror card plus your Revenge card over here as your pile leader, it's this feeling of I was betrayed or I wasn't treated fairly. It's something that I feel bitter about, like an injustice not corrected, okay? Now, the second card is the Hierophant reversed, and that card is in the position of why was it hidden from you? Okay, and we didn't get to the truth yet, so we'll see what the truth is here with the Four of Swords reversed, right? But why was it hidden from you? The truth that we're about to explore, why it was hidden from you, is because, let's see, the Hierophant reversed tends to mean going against a tradition of some sort or an authority failing you in some way. So for some of you, this might be, especially if it's like a boss relationship that you had, like, felt kind of betrayed by, it's very possible that they were just not a very good leader. That's a Hierophant reversed, very obviously. It's also potentially like a break from the tradition of how things were. Maybe that's why it felt so, what's the word I want to use? Why it felt so like extra painful was because it's like, up until that point, you hadn't really felt like that would ever occur, that bad thing, but it did. Okay, and, talking from a spiritual level as well, a Hierophant reversed for the question of, well, why was this truth hidden? Can mean, what's the best way to put it, pile number 2? Because it's like a spiritual authority or, like, tradition that's not followed. Why? Okay, because there was something in this situation that occurred, pile 2, that in a spiritual perspective pushed you towards a better place. Like, it was better for you in the end, as much as it might have been painful at the time, and Spirit is acknowledging that, okay, especially with the Nine of Pentacles reversed earlier. It was like a feeling of, yeah, you didn't get the gumball you put the quarter in for, right? It was, there was supposed to be a transaction there, and there just was not. But in the end, it was better for you because the authority there was, it was kind of broken from the start, okay? And on top of that, too, like I said, being, like, it's like something kind of needed to shake you up a little bit so that you could see or find something where you could, like, get to a place with better management or better leadership or things like that. On top of that, the why, especially if the truth, which, like I said, we'll talk about in a second here, like, specifically, if someone hid something from you, if that's more about how this resonates with your particular situation that you're, like, you think it's, like, applies to this particular reading, it's that they wanted to hide their failure of authority. Okay, they didn't want to admit, I'm not doing the greatest job here, or they wanted to hide that they were changing things from the tradition of how things were going, okay? So I know it's kind of a bunch of different interpretations. I always say just take what resonates with what your particular situation is, since this is a general reading, but that's the why. Now, the hidden truth, pile number 2, is that middle card. We have the Four of Swords reversed. So this literally is kind of a breakup or a bad relationship card, because that's at least what it depicts, right? But the traditional interpretation of the Four of Swords reversed is something awakening, something coming out of a time of rest to activity. Okay, and so how I would interpret that, especially combined with the Haunted Mirror and the Amber Cave, as, well, what is the hidden truth here? The hidden truth, pile number 2, is that it was kind of there all along, even though you didn't recognize it. It's like something that was asleep, but just because something is asleep doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just that sometimes we don't notice it's there until it wakes up, so to speak, you know? It's also a hidden truth of, like, more things were going on that were active that seemed sleepy on the surface, okay? Things were kind of happening unseen. Things were going on that were, like, it might have been planned out longer than you expected. Like, to you, it seemed out of the blue. You're like, well, what the heck is this, right? Like, the Hierophant reversed is the breaking tradition. You're like, well, where'd this come from? But it really had been planned for a longer time, okay, because of that Four of Swords. Now, you specifically, pile 2, I didn't do this for the other pile, but I want to draw an extra card on that because I want to see more about, like, the truth, right? I did see intuitively, like I said, I think, I don't know, there's something about rights and wrongs, as I said with the Haunted Mirror. Let me draw one more card here. Spirit, can you tell me just a little bit more with one more card about the truth of the situation? What was the truth? Thank you. Excuse me. What was the truth, Spirit? Like, it was going on longer than they thought, but then also, oh, okay, we have another 2, pile 2. Speaking of, hi, pile 2, right? This is your number 2, right? Which is the relationship card. Okay, I think the majority of you, this was actually a relationship. It tends to be romantic, but it can also mean a relationship with, you know, a business-related thing, like we said. I won't repeat that ad nauseum because I did explain that earlier, but the truth was something to do about a relationship, this person that you had, like, the right and wrong kind of bitter feeling about. I almost wonder if they had started a relationship with somebody else earlier than you thought they did. Unfortunately, like, I know if this is like a romantic relationship thing, pile number 2, that probably like if I were reading this for, like, my personal situation, like, say if I were, like, in your shoes, I'd be like, oh, that means that maybe they had their eye on somebody else even earlier than I thought they did. So sometimes that can even get to, like, cheating territory, right? Unfortunately, pile number 2, but I think at this point maybe you kind of already knew or you found out later, but, like, what this hidden truth reading then is basically telling you is that was planned a lot longer before than you realized. It was something that was sleeping that became active, and then it something to do with a relationship or a harmony or a connection of some sort because of that 2 of Cups. So, for example, like, if it had been a relationship where, like, you and your partner were going along and things seemed okay for a while, despite maybe they didn't put as much effort in, right? And, you know, maybe, like, you kind of blamed yourself, or it might even be that the partner blamed you, like, well, I had my eye on someone else because you weren't putting enough effort in. Like, it almost kind of feels like a gaslighting thing, pile number 2, which I'm really sorry if that's what happened, because that's no fun, right? When really the partner, they were kind of maybe not the most faithful emotionally all along. So, or not all along, but earlier than you thought they were. Same thing too, like, if that's not a romantic relationship thing that's resonating with you, pile 2, it could also be that, say it is like a business relationship, like a boss or something, you know, maybe if you got, like, fired or let go and it seemed just completely out of the blue, it was something that was planned longer. And in this case, the hidden truth would be, like, the boss did that because they wanted to hire someone into your position because they had a relationship with them, or, like, say with a promotion, they had a greater relationship with that person that they didn't disclose, okay? There's a little bit of an underhanded thing here, I'm feeling, and I want to say this, pile number 2, I'm not getting the sense at all that this was your fault, so don't feel like, oh god, I should have seen the signs, or, oh, like, I did something wrong, and if I had just known what that wrong thing was, I could have changed this. This reading feels to me a lot like this was in the ball in the court of the person who you felt wronged you, okay, like 100%. This is, they were plotting things or planning things that you didn't even, I mean, that's probably why it broadsided you, pile 2. You were like, what? Where'd this come from? Because they were doing things kind of more, in the background than you expected because of some sort of relationship of some sort tending to be romantic. It could have even been, like, say if it was a business thing, pile 2, it could have been that boss gave a promotion to somebody else because they had romantic feelings for them, which is really unethical, but, you know, human's gonna human, people do stuff like that all the time, unfortunately. So it's really the hidden truth reading here is Spirit kind of patting you on the back and saying it wasn't your fault, pile 2. It was not your fault. They were doing things kind of ahead of time and like longer than you expected, and it was always kind of gonna be that way. Okay, so you were in the right, pile 2. If that's another question maybe that you dealt with during this process, you were in the right. You weren't in the wrong. Okay. Now the last 2 cards here from tarot, at least, we have the impact on you, or like what this truth is going to change in terms of like, well, now that you know it, right? And then the last card is a piece of advice. So the impact on you / the change is the High Priestess reversed. Basically what that means, pile 2, straightforwardly, is you should trust your gut more. I get the feeling that maybe you had an inkling before this reading, that at the time you were kind of like, well, I wonder if things were going on a lot more earlier than I expected. Or like there's something that, because the High Priestess is all about intuition, pile 2, and especially reversed, it's like you're not listening to your intuition enough. So basically what this reading means to you, or what Spirit says this is what you should take away from it, is trust your intuition more in similar situations in the future, okay? And they're saying it because they want you to feel more confident in yourself, in your ability, in the area where, like, this wrong had taken place, okay? It wasn't your fault, I'll just reiterate. And then last but not least, yes, the advice card is the 2 of Swords reversed. Basically, that's something about you need to make a decision of some sort. I think maybe you've been kind of indecisive about maybe how you feel about all of this, or, like I said before, there might be some of that initial fear of, oh God, like, I should have seen the signs, or maybe, like, the fault was with me, that's why I didn't get picked, or why this fell apart. No, Spirit is saying, be decisive with this, pile number 2, okay? Trust your gut. I think you know in your heart that you were in the right, you just might kind of doubt it a little bit. Also, interestingly enough, this is literally a character who, and this is this is why when I use a pop culture deck, I'll kind of explain this if you don't have never seen Gravity Falls, this is what this deck is from. Literally, these 2 characters, this guy is manipulating this guy, and he's holding his hands over his eyes. It's like a manipulation, like, oh, you're not supposed to see what this is. Don't look behind the curtain. Okay, so that's another inkling to me that that's kind of what was going on. All right, now we do have just 2 final oracle cards to pull. I'll pull them right in a row. Here we go, the Earthly Moon. Our spirits and ghosts, and I can't remember the name of this oracle. I feel bad. It's really long, but it's a really beautiful oracle, so you should get it if you haven't. It's down in the description box below. Spirit, anything else you want to tell pile 2? Right there, okay. We have, love. Okay, so once again, for a lot of you, I think this is a romantic relationship because of all the love cards and romantic relationship cards coming out. But also it's a reminder to love yourself, pile 2. You're not unlovable because of what happened. You're not flawed because of what happened. Okay, it wasn't you. It's also an indicator that you put in all the love and the effort that was required. It was someone else dropped the ball, or like I said before, it was like the ball was in their court and they dropped it. Okay. And then let's see, your Soul Mirror Oracle. Anything else, Spirit, you want to tell them for the final message of this reading? Thank you. Right there. I'm feeling this one. Okay, we have perceptive, oblivious versus aware. Okay, so I apologize. It's going to be a tad repetitive, pile 2. This is kind of like the High Priestess energy that we just talked about, being aware of something or feeling like something kind of blindsided you, as we discussed earlier. Trust your perceptions, pile 2. I think deep down you already kind of knew this hidden truth. You just might have doubted it because maybe you tend towards self-blame. Maybe you tend towards maybe giving other people too much of the benefit of the doubt sometimes, which is great. It means you're a good person. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes your intuition is right and you shouldn't give people the benefit of the doubt, okay? So trust your perceptions. That's a really prominent message here with this reading. Your intuition is right. Okay. And also, too, don't blame yourself for what happened, because sometimes, like, hindsight is always 20/20, pile 2, right? It's easier to see the truth of things when you're at a distance in the future. If you feel any shame for having been, quote-unquote, oblivious at the time, which, once again, I'll reiterate, was not your fault, don't feel that shame. Okay? A lot of people, if not 100% of people in your shoes, would have been caught blindsided. Okay? The fault 100% lies with the authority figure in the situation, or the partner in the situation, that dropped that ball that we discussed. Okay? You were in the right. Okay. Just, if there's anything you walk away from this reading from, you were in the right. Okay. So that's your Hidden Truth reading for today, my wonderful pile number 2. I hope most of all that it helped you, but that you liked it and that it resonated. If so, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so already. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your Pick a Card Hidden Truth reading. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card of I Won't Cry For You, or number 22. So typically I explore the pile leader a little bit, but today we're going to switcheroo that around. We're going to put your pile leader over here to the left, and we're going to draw from 2 different decks, one of the oracles as well as your tarot spreads. So calling on spirit today for the highest best good of pile number 3. Please tell us more about the hidden truth you want them to know. Thank you. Okay. Feeling drawn to this particular part of the deck. We'll draw those 2. And then let's draw from the, how fittingly titled for a Hidden Truth reading, the Mystery Tarot. Okay, Spirit, tell us more about, with this hidden truth, what area of their life this is, why it was hidden, the truth itself, what it changes, and the advice that you have for pile 3 on this situation. Thank you. You know, I'm feeling intuitively pile 3, and we'll see more details with the cards that come out. There's something to do with a heart pain of some sort. I wonder if this is like a pain-related, like emotional pain, I want to say. Particular hidden truth. Apologies for the sirens in the background. Okay, there's 5 cards. Beautiful. Let's unveil the oracle decks. Yeah, pain of the heart pile. It's 3. I don't know. Okay, we have, Grunglestan. If you're not familiar with the pop culture show that this deck is from, I'll explain. So Grunglestan, it says crotchety, entrepreneurial, actually really a softie deep down. Okay. And then we have the card of, oh cute, it's the pet pig. We have Waddles, loyal, accessorizable, and hungry. Okay, so maybe... Now, Grunglestan is like a boss character, so it could be something to do with a pain related to like your job or your boss. It could also be like an older masculine figure, although with Waddles, it kind of makes me think maybe it's something to do with like a friend. We'll see. Let's look at your tarot cards, because this is... Things will make more sense in synchronicity when we see everything together. Okay, so the first card is... Interesting, pile 1 had this as their first card, the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups, pile 3, is often about our dreams and said dreams versus reality, different choices we can make, what lures us in, what we care about, what we don't. All right. I'll explain more about that in a moment. I'm using a bit of a different version of my spread today for those of you who have seen my readings before. Page of Pentacles, okay. Exploring our opportunities, learning things with our career or finances. We have the Question Baby. That's the 3 of Wands, really. Plans for the future, okay. Then we have the Queen of Swords reversed. Maybe a bit of a harsh feminine figure, or something to do with a truth you're not certain of deep down. All right, and last but not least, we have the 10 of Cups reversed. Okay. Interesting here, pile number 3. Give me just a moment. I'm going to look over my cards as well as interpret them for the specific spread I made for this reading. So the first card is the 7 of Cups, as I said. And the first card of this spread represents the what's hidden / like what area of your life this is related to. Now, I did say maybe this is something to do with a friend of some sort with the oracle cards. That might still kind of weave in, but the 7 of Cups in this position does tell a story of a hidden truth related to your dreams, your goals, and something that like, you're trying to like parse reality from fantasy with. Now that might be literally like a goal that you're working on or something that you've been daydreaming about that Spirit wants you to know a hidden truth about. It could also mean that like a person related to this dream might be what the hidden truth is about, hence maybe the friend thing we saw earlier. It can also mean in a way of like a dream that, or like a choice given to you that isn't what it seems. Let's keep going and then we'll see more. Okay, and the second card, the Page of Pentacles here with the yellow, tends to represent either a youthful person or the action of exploring or being curious about something regarding our security, our finances, and career. Okay, and in this position, this card represents the why this truth is hidden. Now, we haven't even talked about the truth yet because that's the middle card here with the Three of Wands. But the why it's hidden is because this kind of feels like more of a spiritual thing, pile 3. I want to say the reason why this truth was hidden from you regarding this goal, this dream, this choice is because it's like Spirit or the universe wanted you to explore your options more. It's almost like a feeling of perhaps if you had gone with the first initial thought, like you would have gone down a worse path or like a less successful path than had you been like given more time to explore more. Okay, because a Page of Pentacles is someone who doesn't like immediately jump on something. They're not an action taker like the Knights in the tarot deck is, or are, I should say. They're more in the kind of like, I wonder about this thing stage. Kind of, it's like similar to the energy of the Seven of Cups. Like, I wonder about this dream, okay? But then we see the full truth with the Three of Wands, okay? And the Three of Wands here is the truth itself. And the Three of Wands is all about taking action on the plans that we've made for the future. So if I had to really weave that into like different examples, pile 3. Let me just think about that for a moment. Okay, so we have dreams versus reality, exploring our options, and the truth is really, though, plans. Oh, okay, so pile 3. If you have a certain goal or like a dream of some sort, and there's another person involved, especially for those of you where it's maybe business, because with Grunkle Stan, that card, it does speak of being entrepreneurial. He is a business owner. He owns the Mystery Shack in the show, literally, yeah. So he literally owns a small business, right? So those of you, especially in small business, this might actually be like a business partner related thing. I want to say the hidden truth is something about plans that they've made that they maybe haven't told you about yet. Or like they're taking action on plans and like you're not aware of it quite yet. Or like maybe something happened in the past where you kind of wondered, well, like why did that happen? Like what was going on with that with this particular situation? It's because someone had already made plans. Okay, and it was related to this goal or this dream of yours, as I said, with the Seven of Cups. And really, like, especially though, pile 3, you might be hearing this and you might be like, well, man, that ended up doing something that made me kind of angry, especially like maybe if someone was making plans and they went ahead without you. Okay, maybe that's kind of how this resonates. You might be kind of upset because you might be like, well, dang, like, they shouldn't have gone ahead without me. Like, what? Some of you, it might even be like, maybe they stole your business idea. Because, here's another thing with Grunkle Stan as a character. He's lovable, right, by the end, but he also does a lot of crime. He steals a lot of things. So I think, it could have been like someone stole your idea. Maybe that's what the Three of Wands represents. Or like Page of Pentacles too is like exploring options. Oh, I'm going to go ahead with this particular plan. Especially with the context of the Queen of Swords reversed next to it. Because the Queen of Swords reversed can represent like a feminine energy person who isn't always honest. Okay, because the sword suit in tarot tends to represent communication, truth, things like that, intelligence as well. But reversed to Queen of Swords can be someone who is dishonest. Also can be ruthless of tongue. Maybe they weren't very nice about it too. So really the truth is it's like they went ahead with plans without you, or it's like, that's why, some of you, this might not even be like where it's like a really close business partner or someone like close to the goal that you're trying to achieve. I'm getting an intuitive feeling that it might even be someone that's like you admire in the space of what you're trying to achieve or what you're dreaming about. Like, say, you're like, I'll just use YouTube, right, as an example, being a YouTuber. You want to start a YouTube channel, and say you're looking at somebody who's in your same niche that you kind of want to create videos in, and you're like, God, they have this same idea. How did they get so far? How did they get there? Honestly, this reading kind of speaks to me of maybe they had a little bit more help in the background with plans than it looks like. So sometimes, like, other people's success, we compare ourselves to them, and we think to ourselves, well, man, like, they're doing the same thing as I'm doing. How come they got so far more ahead than I did? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, sometimes, pile number 3, there's nepotism. Sometimes they have more help than you did, right? Sometimes maybe they have, like, more financial support. That can also be why the Page of Pentacles came up. It's something about that, like, they're not 100% maybe being honest about. I'm not feeling like it's necessarily in, like, especially if it's, like, someone who's distant that maybe you admire, say, a bigger YouTuber in a niche that you want to create a YouTube channel in, or whatever your particular situation is. It's not, like, a bad deception. It's not, like, a Seven of Swords feeling. It just feels more like, I don't know. I guess the feeling I'm getting out of it is, like, Spirit saying, comparison really is the theft of joy, or say it's like the music industry. Maybe you want to create music. A lot of people in the music industry, or like acting, for example, let's use Hollywood too, or whatever is the equivalent in what country you live in, right? They get there not because of merit. I mean, maybe, yes, they have skill, but a lot of people get there because they have connections. Okay, so that's what this reading is feeling like to me. So really the hidden truth, pile 3, is, kind of a double whammy of, well, number 1, if you feel like you're failing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're failing. Or, like, if you feel like you're behind other people in the same thing that you're trying to achieve, it's not necessarily because of your own flaws or mistakes. It feels like they kind of had a leg up more than you did, even if it doesn't seem that way. Even if you don't see that, like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like, well, like a Nepo baby, right? Or, like, I don't know. Do I want to use this example? A lot of people really like Taylor Swift. All I'll say is, from my understanding, her dad bought a record company. Okay. And that probably helped her in career a lot. So, like, things like that. Okay, so no Swifties come after me, I promise. Like, just, you know what I mean, though. I think, to my understanding, her father did buy a record company. That helped her with her career, right? Not that she hasn't worked hard since then. But, it's something along those lines, pile 3. And then, that too, if it's not even like a past thing that you're kind of feeling like this resonates with, if it's like a current thing, this 3 of Wands can represent the hidden truth of somebody's making plans that you aren't expecting. Okay. Actually, pile 3, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to draw just one more card on that then. I do want to hear a little bit more about that. We will talk about your Queen of Swords and your Ten of Cups at the end, though, but those are more about, like, the impact on you, as well as, like, the advice Spirit has for you with this hidden truth. So, Spirit, can you give me, like, one more card with the truth itself? Like, tell me more about the hidden truth here. What is it, other than the plans part? Thank you. Okay. We have the Chariot. Yep. For some of you, this is going to be, someone involved here has plans and they're driving forward with them maybe a bit faster than you in a way that you aren't expecting. So we kind of saw that earlier. However, the Chariot can also represent control over our direction. Having focus is, like, another word. Sometimes too, it can literally represent, like, moving, because it's like a car. Okay. Pile 3. Making plans and driving forward. For those of you where this is a present thing, if there's someone involved in this dream of yours, say it's a business partner, or someone involved in some work-related thing, however it resonates, I would check in with them to make sure they're not going ahead of you, or doing things without your say, or going faster than you want them to, okay? Or taking ideas and running with them and then not giving you credit. That's kind of what this particular reading feels like to me, okay? Same thing too, though, if it's like someone you admire, like we were talking about, like nepotism, or like people having greater advantages, getting farther than you. Well, of course they're going to get farther because they have a greater advantage. They started out from, they didn't start out from 0 like you did, potentially, right? This is kind of a similar message in that, like, it's like you started walking on foot, but then they had a car to drive. Okay, of course you're going to be a bit slower than someone that has a car when you're walking on foot. Okay, so that kind of feeling. All right. And then we have, yes, the Queen of Swords reversed, and that is in the position of the impact on you, or like what changes based on this truth, right? Interesting. I know I said earlier that could represent like some feminine figure that isn't being honest, and that might still be true, right? That might be the business partner we're talking about here, or however this resonates, right? But in terms of what it changes is the Queen of Swords reversed then is a piece of advice to you, pile 3, to communicate more. That is one piece of advice. It might impact you to kind of reach out to this person and be like, especially if like they're closer, it's not just like a comparison type thing, and say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? Where's your progress? Are you running ahead without me? Okay. And then the Queen of Swords can also represent advice in to like trust your inner knowing, because a Queen of Swords upright is someone who they're smart and they know and believe in their own logic and their intelligence. Okay, so maybe there's something here like maybe you kind of already know it, pile 3, but you're kind of denying it because emotionally you're like, well, I don't really want to think that, right? But logically you think about it and you're like, well, okay, well, logic says maybe this is really what's going on. Okay, so trust your logic in that case. That's another piece of advice. Trust your logic over your heart in what's going on. Okay, and then the 10 of Cups reversed here is the final piece of advice. That's the card of happily ever afters, emotional satisfaction. I'm just going to say it again, pile 3. Comparison is the theft of joy. What looks like happily ever after to you from the outside perspective, like say there's someone you admire in the goal or niche that you want to achieve in, or career field, etc., or maybe it's something about like a relationship that you're kind of envious of, or like you wish you had that, or something along those lines. There are things going on that you don't know. A lot of relationships from the outside perspective look a lot better than they actually are on the inside, especially on social media. I mean, because like, think about it. If people are in a relationship and things are going awful, most of the time they're not going to put pictures of the awful things going on social media. They're going to be like, oh, we went to the beach today, we're so happy together, those types of things. Okay, same thing too with like people that you think are succeeding really well and the thing that you want to succeed well in. There's maybe things going on that you don't recognize that are going worse for them than you expect. So once again, comparison is the theft of joy, pile 3. Okay, so just be aware of that. And also, don't think of this so much in comparison. Don't think of this so much in, say especially too if someone is going ahead without you with something, maybe even stealing an idea, which is awful, but it does happen, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they already have the idea now. Unfortunately, they're probably going to go ahead with it, especially with the Chariot having come up. But I feel like, that's not going to work out well for them in the end because of that 10 of Cups reversed. Because like I said, that's usually happily ever after, but reversed, it's like, it's not sunshine and rainbows that we thought it would be, okay? They don't really, I don't think they're going to succeed if they try to rush ahead with your idea, okay? Because they don't have the inherent quality to achieve what you could achieve with the same idea. Does that kind of make sense, pile 3? It's more about you rather than the idea being what's of value here. Okay, that type of thing. And then, we also have 2 other oracle cards to get. Just kind of final messages here. We have the Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle first. Gorgeous, beautiful deck. Okay, Spirit, anything else you want to say to pile 3 about this? I mean, in the end, all in all, though, pile 3, I think you're going to succeed anyways. I didn't even talk about your pile leader yet. I won't cry for you. I have a feeling that whoever is being shifty here is not going to... You're going to kind of... I don't know. It's kind of that feeling of, cry me a river. Like, you're going to be like, well, you stole my idea, so of course, I don't care if it blew up on you. That kind of thing. It's kind of like a really subtle karmic revenge that you didn't even have to put much effort into. It's like they kind of shoot themselves with their own foot, that kind of feeling. Yeah, and then we have Wisdom. Interesting. Beautiful card. We have the Witch and the Black Cat on the moon with the pine tree. Of course, we're not biased for pine trees on this channel whatsoever. Wisdom. And then let's grab your other deck too and see if that has any context. Wisdom. Yeah, you know, and it's weird because that card says wisdom pile 3, but what I interpret that with the particular imagery is just to kind of mind your own. Things will work out in the end if you just focus on your own efforts, if you focus on your own skills and your own talents, okay? I think that's also probably what sets you apart, especially if somebody, like, had, say, like, stolen an idea of yours. Just because they steal the idea doesn't mean they have the wisdom to enact it well. You're the one with the wisdom, okay? All right. I'm feeling drawn to this one in particular. Comfort. Oh, it's another black kitten. We have lost and found. Comfort. Well, number one, that's Spirit saying to you, pile 3, it's going to be okay. Because, you know, it's a message of comforting you. It's a message of it'll be fine. It'll work out in the end. It'll be okay, right? But there's a little bit of an extra message here with, like, the keywords of lost versus found. I wonder if some of you literally had something stolen from you and you wondered if it was stolen, but, like, right now you're not quite sure. This is kind of an indicator that maybe, like, it was actually, like, lost and you're going to find it again, or if it was stolen, despite it being stolen / lost, you're going to find it again. Okay, that might be another way that this is, especially with Grunkle Stan as one of the cards, because, like I said, lovable, but he's technically a criminal. He steals a lot. Okay, so not the most ethical guy, but yeah. So because of that, I thought, well, I'll mention that. But it'll work out in the end, pile 3. We'll say that. Okay. It's going to be okay. Some of you, I wonder if actually some of you might have also lost a pet recently because of the black cat that, well, it's actually in 2 cards. We have the black cat here, the black cat in Wisdom, and technically Waddles, even though he's a pig. He's a pet, right? I feel like you're going to find your pet soon. That might be kind of like a secondary message for some of you with the hidden truth here. So if you've lost a pet recently, I think you're going to find them. You know what? For those of you that have lost a pet recently, because I'm a pet owner myself and I love pets, I'm going to draw just one tarot card for you on maybe advice on where to find them. A lot of you, this might not resonate at all, so feel free, I guess, to click off at this point. But if you have lost a pet recently, Spirit, can you tell me how they might find this pet? Because we love our pets, right? We don't want any lost kitties or, well, I guess, pigs, based on the Waddles card. Could be a dog, too. Where do they find this pet? Right there. The Giffany, which is the Empress in most decks. For those of you that have lost a pet recently, kind of a weird side message to the Hidden Truth reading, but there's something to do with it being in, like, nature or, like, being related to, like, a mother of some sort. Okay, because the Empress is the motherhood card, it's the femininity card, it's also the card of nurturing and, like, nature. I almost want to say that it's possible that maybe a feminine person has taken the pet in and they're being taken care of by whoever this is. So I get the feeling that the pet isn't, like, out and about, like, in, like, immediate danger. I get the feeling it's more like they're being taken care of, and maybe that's why you haven't, like, seen them around if you're trying to, like, look for wherever this pet is. I would almost say maybe look at either someone who is a student that perhaps might have taken the pet in, or something to do with, like, a shelter, like someone who's taken shelter, because that's another thing, like, the Empress can mean, like, nurturing something, holding it close, like the book in her arms, but then also the cat in the arms of the Comfort card, okay? So, just, yeah, I would look at shelters around you if you've been looking for a pet. And once again, we have a cat here. It's very hard to see on the edge here. It's kind of pixelated, but there's a cat kind of sticking out here. I wonder if some of you did lose a cat. Anyways, you'll find them, I promise, pile 3, okay? They're being taken care of somewhere. Look at shelters, all right? So, anyways, with that side message done, for those of you that didn't click off for the pet message, that was a reading today about the Hidden Truth, okay? I hope, of course, most of all, that you liked it, it helped you, and that it resonated. If so, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.